Well, hello, Wendi WIlliams. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes, we have got some flowers behind you and everything. You look all festive, and you're doing okay with isolation.
Yeah, as good as I can be.
Yeah.
One mom time, so that's good.
Oh, that's true. Mom time is awesome. So
Mom,
you missing your clients?
big time.
Yeah. I'm
It
sure
feels so empty.
they're probably missing you a lot more than you're missing them.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think people now are realizing how important we are to them. As far as hairdressers go, because like, oh my gosh, I need my hairdresser. Yeah, and don't cut your own bangs while you're at it, right?
No, don't try to give yourself a fade.
I had to do a fade. I had to do a fade 2 days ago because my one of my buddies, he always gets his hair cut by his barber, right? And she's not working, and it's been a month or so for him, and his hair's kind of getting long. And I said, "All right, man, I'll fade it." He goes, "You don't know how to do that. You haven't cut hair in a long time." I go, "Dude, sit down." 10 minutes later, he's like, "Whoa, that's the best fade I've ever had in my life." You
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah, once you do something for over 40 years, you kind of get good at it. Like even if you're not that good, you eventually get good. Like me. Hey, how you doing? So yeah. Speaking of which, when you first came on this damn show, I was busting your chops, wasn't I? When I said, "Oh, Wendy, so what are you doing?" You were like, "Patrick, shut up," probably, right?
No, never.
No, never.
But
Yeah, but I was
everybody busted my chops when I went on there.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, how in the heck? This is like a mako. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? And it, but guess what? You ended up winning, and I was shocked. That's why I love this show so much. Like, so when I'm in it, thank God I don't have to judge it because then you still like me afterwards. And the other thing is that I don't know who the heck's gonna win because when that photo shoot happens, things change, don't they?
Big time.
Were you in last place going into the photo shoot, or were you in the middle?
Like massively last place. The
Holy
first round got
crap!
13 points.
So how surprised were you when we announced you as the winner?
You know what? Seeing the other two stylists that were there, and their work was awesome.
It
Their
was
work
awesome. It
was
was.
fantastic. Everybody did so good. But I was very surprised when the judges started talking. I got like a little glimmer of hope. I was like, okay, this could turn around, but it's anybody's game at this point. And when my name was called, I mean, you could see it on my face in the video. I was completely surprised,
Yeah,
like, oh my god, and my bottle too, which
he
like
was stoked.
you
And he was a
so
really nice guy. He was really wonderful. But I just didn't know what you were gonna. I mean, what the theme was because you kind of just said when I interviewed you in the beginning, like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna like fade it and do something." And we're like, "What is that? What the hell are you even doing?"
I I try to keep a little bit of the element of surprise. When we went into it collectively as my team, we had a plan, and I was like, okay, so I'm representing for the barber world, so we have to mix it up a little bit, right?
Yeah,
So since it was a transformation, I was like, instead of doing the glitz and the glam, let's go the opposite direction. Let's do a totally different transformation, and let's make him look like he had an all-nighter somewhere, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas kind of a theme going on. And he like nailed it.
yeah, he did. Well, how important do you think? Because I love saying this because you were like one of the originals, right? And you went in there, you did it because, we know you and we asked you, hey, would you want to be on this television show? And you're like, what is this all about? And I'm like, well, no, it's watch, it's really going to be on TV, on real TV. And you're like, sure it is.
I
Sure
don't
it
think I
is.
rolled my eye.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, okay, Patrick. That's really nice, Patrick. Yeah, sure it's going to be. And then when you came in and I started hammering on you, because, people don't know, but, I'm a little bit of a teaser, little, right? Just a little bit
Just
of
a little bit.
just a little, yeah. But it's a tension breaker too. It helps. When you guys are getting all stressed out, I start telling you guys jokes and I think when you were in there, I was like, what is she gonna do with this guy? Like literally. And how did you feel like when you first walked in and you go, damn, yeah, what am I gonna do with this guy?
So it was intimidating walking in, because here you are talking to these people who have been in the industry far longer than I have and who are experienced in hair color, which I have very small experience with, and these people who have built this whole career around transforming women. So that in itself is intimidating, on top of lights and cameras and judges and everything else that goes into it, and how many cameramen there were, and that
in
you're
your face. Like each person has their
in your
You didn't know
face.
you were going to have your own camera person, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then mic'd for everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And cut and stop and this and that. And you're like, what the heck? And you
Right.
probably thought, how is this even going to turn out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And were you pleased?
I knew you guys would knock it out of the park. Seeing the first 2 episodes were awesome. So, I mean, I can't wait to see the rest of them too.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I mean, now because I've done it, you know, at the first show I was a little stressed. I'll say, you know, when I was shooting the first concept show, it was a little hard because I didn't know because you know I have to figure out everything as we go, like a big puzzle, right? I didn't really know where we were going with the show in a lot of ways initially. Like, how could we make this story in a half hour, and how do we shoot it to make it a half hour? That's tough. And but by the time I was in your guys' show, I was already having fun with it. And it's like I sit back and I'm like, this is the coolest thing to watch. Did you notice that, or were you just focused?
A little bit of both. I mean, you have a very, I would say, infectious personality in there. So you having fun and lightening the mood, it carries throughout everybody. It does really break the ice. It does make it a little less intimidating. Me as a barber working in a barbershop, let's see, how do I put this in the nicest, most ladylike way?
Okay.
Things already are a little, you know, wild all the time anyway. So I'm used to working in that type of an environment. So it was nice that it wasn't just in the breaks. It was kind of like all throughout. And the judges did the same thing. And I tried to interact with the other stylists too. And kind of when you see somebody else stressing out, like crack a joke or something.
Yeah, because sometimes I think you're going to start crying or fall apart. And it's like, you know, come on, guys, it's okay. Or like I'll go like, come on, you're doing a good job. You notice I went to each person and I said, hey, did you hear what the judge says? And, you know, maybe you didn't, but I'm saying, you know, maybe this is good advice, you know, let's let everybody have a great time and do their best work. But sometimes if you're too stressed, you just can't. And it seemed like you really took the advice. And here's where that happened that made, I think, the difference is where you tell me if you think you know where it was. Where was it?
Okay, so I know where it was,
okay,
but I have to say I took advice and it went bad. So then I took more advice to make it good.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as thoroughly thought out as it probably should have been. As you know, it was not the intention for him to have blue hair.
No, I know.
at all.
No.
But you know what? We went with it and we rocked it. And at the end, after, you know, listening to the judges and everybody else that was around and taking their inputs in a field that I'm not very strong in, I went with it and it worked. I'm just
like, Wendi, look, just reapply it. Just let it sit there to the last minute, right? What is it going to do? Just relax. It's okay. Don't worry. It's going to pop. And then, because Alan was not having it. You know that, right?
No, he wasn't.
He was not he was on you. And did you see his comment? Like, well, I really wasn't into the blue hair, you know? And he thought your part was too high. And I told him, dude, you're going to like regret saying that because it's not too high. And you knew it wasn't too high. I went over to you and I said, hey, man, that's right on right there. That's going to be sick.
Right.
Blend that sucker in and you're perfect. And guess what? At the end, he's like, yeah, it works.
Had Smurf blue hands at the end, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I know, right? And, you know, it's funny because, you know, we don't look at like generally in the barbershop because, you know, I go to a barbershop too and I cut my own or whatever. You know, it depends. I go all over the place. That's not something you would see going on. Very, very, very seldom that would ever happen in the barbershop, right? Yeah, especially even bleaching the hair. Yeah?
Yeah, not very often.
Yeah, and you pulled it off really well.
Okay, thank you.
So that being said, what would you have done differently now that you know?
Now that I know, I would have, it's hard to say. So I would have left the bleach on him longer. My original idea was to make his hair kind of a smoky color. Sure. And he had virgin hair, but he had very thick hair. And it was it didn't lift as well as I wanted it to. So to smoke him out, as you know, you need to get that hair, pretty light to achieve that. And when I went in with my toner, it didn't do anything. The hair wasn't light enough for the toner that I was using, and that's completely on my, lack of experience in that field. So we just kind of went with it. If I could have done something different, I would have chosen a Vivid from the beginning and not even wasted my time with trying to do a toner, trying to make my own, concoction to make it work. And in theory, it would have worked, but it just didn't line up right.
Yep,
Whereas
exactly.
if I would have gone straight in there, I could have got so many more points in the first round, and
it'd have been an easier
would have been a lot easier.
Well, the thing is too, I mean, would you recommend, now that you've done this, working with that concept before you go on the show? Like work maybe on a doll head or work with your model?
Big time. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because this is a big deal. This show's like I say, it's CNBC. That's not a small station. That's 100 million households or more. And then this book that's coming out is going to be going to 30,000 salons. It's a book. That's coming out. It's done. The book's done. You've seen your part in the book, obviously. I thought it looked really good. That thing's going to come out as soon as things get back to normal.
Nice. That's awesome.
It'd be silly to do it right now. People are distracted. We'll wait till things get back to normal and that book's going out. So that's, I think, a really amazing opportunity. Remember I said, hey, I'm going to make you famous. Remember I told you?
Right.
You go, that's the point, Patrick.
That was like one of the first things you told me.
I know. It's just a joke from that one movie, never mind. So, but anyway, so it worked. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, the nice thing is you have a nice Instagram. So even though you didn't have a lot of pictures with model releases that we could use for the book, which I think you've learned that in the future, when you're doing work, if you get something good, get a model release sign, get the pictures of it, and then you can use that for marketing, right? That's a big deal. Yeah. Do you think that your theme, as far as when you come up with the theme, I think that's what saved your butt. What do you think?
I completely do. I mean, I am big, even in a haircut, I have a certain way that I do everything. Sure. Somebody comes in and wants a skin fade. There is a path that I take to get there versus just being like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? So I took that same mentality into the show and with my team. I mean, we made like vision boards together. We put color concepts together. We put outfits together. Like my team was a big part of this, and their ability to work. I mean, look at Adam's modeling skills. Like
he killed it.
He killed it. And I couldn't have done that, So having a vision that's shared between your whole team, like it's the way to go.
Did you know your model, Adam? Did you know that did you know he could pull it off that way? Did you know that?
I picked Adam because him and I were groomsmen together for one of my friend's weddings a couple years ago. And he's a good looking dude, and we became Instagram friends, and I saw that he had done like just playing around model. Dude could strike a pose. So I was like, yep, that's what I want. And he was all about it. So worked perfect.
Did he feel like he had a pretty good time too? He seemed like he did.
He had a blast. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I think an overall experience, how would you rate? I mean, you said you really enjoyed it, but what would you rate the overall experience as far as being on the show?
I would recommend it. I think that anybody who has the opportunity to do it should absolutely do it, because it's awesome to work next to your peers. It's awesome to share this experience with people, because it's not an experience you get every day. Not everybody gets to do this.
Right.
It's humbling to see every little last bit of your flaws on TV, like in your work. Those cameras show everything.
Yeah, it's HD in your face. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, your haircuts, everything. You're just not hiding anything.
I mean, literally, for you especially, your cameraman, he went tight. I mean, you see your razor work. Didn't you? That was pretty cool. We caught that razor work.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I would rate the experience like up there. It is one of the coolest things that I've ever done in my career.
That's awesome. I love it. How did you feel like pressure-wise when the judges were getting in your face and really looking in tight? Because I don't know if people realize it, but they are on you, aren't they? They're right there.
They are definitely on you. The experience that I had coming into the barbering world, where I would still mentor or have mentors in shops, they do the same thing.
Okay.
When you're under a barber, they're in there, they point out every little thing that you were doing wrong and how to fix it. So I'm lucky to where I kind of already had the gut to stomach that type of criticism,
Yeah.
but also have the perception to be able to let the information sink in and utilize it to better your own work too. But it's intimidating.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about hairdressers, not necessarily all of them, but they don't like being criticized because that's
No.
their baby. That's their art. How did you feel with the criticism?
Some of it's kind of hard to take. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to kind of smile and go with it.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
It's
And
hard to get under my skin. So
what did they say at the shop when you came back? Like, or now that they've seen the show, what did they say about all this at the shop?
they asked me about every week for a couple months when it was going to be on.
Yep.
And they were just all excited to see it all. They asked, how'd you do? How'd it go? I want to see pictures. I mean, coming into the type of barbershop I work in, saying that you submitted a guy with blue hair, they're like, what? Okay. But once they saw the photos and the before and afters, everybody seemed pretty pumped about it.
So when you were up there in the lounge, remember you guys were talking about it a little? How were you feeling? Did you think you had a chance?
I thought it could have been anybody's game. Yeah. I knew that I had an amazing makeup artist, and I knew that our look was totally different than the other two contestants. So I was I would say a little shaken by the judges and getting the lowest score, but still optimistic that we had a really cool look, and it was only halfway done. We were only halfway there.
So basically, you stuck to your guns. You stuck to your theme. I think having a theme and sticking to it, you got to ride or die, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, I think that's why you pulled it off. And your model, he pulled it out. He was great. Yeah. Remember I kept saying, let's see if Wendi could pull the hot dog out of the fire and eat it.
Yes, and that's the first time I ever heard that term. I
do you use it now? I mean, you can use it if you want. Sorry. I still didn't go to that barbecue place you told me, because remember I said, oh, so you like barbecue? And she goes, oh yeah, hot dog out of the fire, so you like barbecue? Where that came from, But no, I meant that your hot dog fell off your stick and it was burning, and then you go brush it off and go, it's good, and you ate it. And that's what you basically did. You had all those challenges, you overcame them, which I think makes the victory better, right?
I think so.
Yeah, me too. It was great. It was great.
Very excited.
Okay, so I have a couple more questions for you. Being the fact that you were there doing something different, okay, and the judges were not maybe barbers, although Dennis does have his barbering license. How did you feel about getting judged by cosmetologists and everything, or from those guys? How did you feel?
I have a lot of friends that are cosmetologists, and they're people who I admire just as much as barbers.
Sure.
And these people have been in the industry for God knows how long, and rather it's a barber doing a men's haircut or a stylist doing a men's haircut, it's a men's haircut. So although I was intimidated because of, again, the color aspect and the bleaching technique and the things like that, I'm like, these guys know, they're way over my head. So I can only imagine how they're going to look at little old me who's just kind of making her way by. So that part was a little intimidated, but in all honesty, it was kind of fun to see a perspective through the other side. You know what I mean? Like through a stylist eyes, through a cosmetologist's eyes, how they perceive my work as a barber.
Well, now that you won the show, obviously you come back for a second round. Did all that experience change the way you went after your second appearance? Because people don't know that they haven't seen your second appearance yet. We'll be interviewing you. I don't want to give too much out. But yes, because of the fact that you were in that first round and you do a man and whatnot, we're not even gonna say what you did in the next round. We'll have to let people see. Did that affect you at all for your selection?
It intimidated me because I'm like, here, you won. Now you gotta really blow it out of the park this next time. So how do you top that?
Yeah, how do you top that, right?
It's super intimidating.
Yeah, well, we'll have to find out how you did in your next appearance, huh?
I'm excited.
Yep. So anything you'd like to give as advice for anybody coming on the show now that we have so many people in line now, because now awesome. It's popular, of course. Yeah. So what advice?
Have a good team behind you. Have a team that you trust. Work on your vision together and have a vision just going in there and like know it, execute it, just be meticulous in it and be proud of it.
I agree. You know, I think in a lot of cases on this show, people didn't win the show. They just didn't lose. And I know that in this next season, people are in it to win it. They're getting, because now they have all this background knowledge because you guys blazed the trail for them.
Right.
Yeah, right. So now it's going to be this fact where, okay, so this is going to be tough. I cannot wait.
It's going to get crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you know, like in the semifinals and the finals and all that of even this show, it was pretty interesting because these people had already been battle tested and they came in and they just had to top their game. And that's why this show is so cool. And I mean, the fact that, you know, it is a competition, you know, just gets that little edge on it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it. And everybody, you guys, if you want to see Wendi and everybody else, you can watch them on YouTube if you haven't caught it on TV. And now you're going to be all over the world, Wendi, because once you're on YouTube, after the next show airs, you're going to go on YouTube, which is worldwide. So everybody gets to experience your brand, which is wonderful. And not to mention that book's coming out. And that book is now 200 pages. We're making 30,000 of them, and we're giving them to the top for free, 30,000 salons in the United States. So those of you watching this that are ready to, you know, basically check out the book as well, which is going to be amazing. Wendi's going to be in it. If you want to watch it on YouTube or find out more information, go to www.hdpchallenge.com and subscribe, and then we'll send you all the new videos, and it's wonderful. But Wendi, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Take care in quarantine, you know, have fun, have family time.